everybody, my name is Dr. Roney. With the new year, I wanted to do a video for you that talks about maybe 5 easy ways to kind of reset for the new year, right? Things that you could do that I feel are fairly easy that will help you maybe reach your health goals in the new year. So, number one, the first goal that I would say, or the first thing that you could do, is to reevaluate the why, right? Why would you be doing or setting health goals? Number one, I think, thing to do is look at this long term. So I talk to my patients all the time about not setting short-term goals. So some people say, well, I want to lose 10 pounds. So say you lose 10 pounds and you get to that 10 pounds, where's the goal, right? It's done. So then a lot of times things fall off and you go backwards. What I'd like to do, or like to teach you to do, or think about at least, is think about health as the goal, right? So long-term health, and somebody told me this a long time ago, look at the end, right? And work your way backwards. How do you want to act and feel and look, say at the end of your life, right? And then do everything you can to achieve that. That's a long-standing goal. So health goals never end, right? But weight goals or fitness goals or things like that may. So that to me is one of the best things that you could do to reset your mind as to the why. You're doing it because you just want to be healthier. So I tell that to my kids as well. My daughter, she's 22. We never make it ever. I never throughout her whole life made it about weight or anything else. I told her, here are the steps and the details that you want to do to be healthy every day. So you live a good quality filled life and a good quantity filled life. And if you achieve those, then the weight is pretty much going to be always steady Eddie, right? So weight was never the goal, the health was the goal. And I think that works out a lot better, okay? So the second thing you could do is move more, right? So whatever you're doing now, evaluate your movements. And there's a saying in healthcare, especially alternative and sports, motion is life. So your body, your joints love to be moved. Your brain gets fed by the mechanoreceptors in your ankles and knees and hips and shoulders and so forth. And they feed the brain. And that brain stays strong because of that movement. So I think movement's a big deal. So it could be as simple as, instead of parking close to the door at, say, Target, you park far away. And that allows you to get a little more movement in there. I mean, that's obviously simplifying it, but that's just a concept that you can incorporate. Instead of taking the escalator, take the stairs, right? Instead of taking the elevator, take the stairs. Again, as a simple example, but you want to try to focus on moving more. One of the things that I like to do personally, it gets a little bit more involved, is do a little bit of higher intensity exercise. So I might get on a treadmill and walk a little bit to loosen up, but then what I'll do is I'll sprint for a little bit and then I'll jog for a little bit. I'll sprint and jog. And what I'm doing is getting my heart rate up a little higher. That's been proven or shown to increase white blood cell count, so your immune system increases. It's been proven to help your blood sugar, growth hormone increases, inflammation decreases, dopamine increases, etc. So all these things are really, really good physiologically or biochemically for the body by just getting more movement, but even movement that requires a little bit more of a higher heart rate. Okay, so the movement's another way you can do it, or you can kind of reset for your goals for the new year. Another one, we could talk about obviously foods, right? So we want to simplify the foods a little bit. You don't have to get really crazy into diets and things like that, because I think sometimes people get overwhelmed and it's too hard to follow through. What I like to tell patients is, if you can't pick it or chase it, leave it alone, right? So think, if I'm on a deserted island, what could I eat? Well, whatever the land offers in its most natural form. So I could do some fishing and eat fish. I could do free roaming, free range, I'll call it more organic meats. I could pick fruits and vegetables. I can eat good fats. your good oils, coconuts and avocados and good raw almonds and walnuts and seeds and nuts and things like that. The food choices to avoid are going to be your grains, anything processed. So if I'm on a deserted island and I grew wheat, for example, I wouldn't be able to eat that because I'd have to somehow manufacture and process it into an edible form, right? So we want to leave that alone. So we want to leave your breads and your cakes and your crackers and your cookies and your bagels and anything processed that you wouldn't be able to find on a deserted island. So your food choices, just make it simpler and make it cleaner. That's it. And using the pick it or chase it concept. Now, if you're a vegan or a vegetarian, just use plant-based protein instead of meat protein in there, but do it based on what you can find on a deserted island. Okay? So that's a good, just I think somewhat simple way as a check and balance to know if what you're putting in is good. Another thing you can do with the food is you can intermittent fast. Intermittent fasting means that 16 to 18 hours of the day you're not eating, or of your 24-hour cycle you're not eating, and roughly 6 to 8 hours you are. So personally, I'll have my first meal at noon, I'll have one around 3 or 4, and around 6 or 7. So I eat between a 6 or 7 hour span, but I still eat 3 square meals a day using the pick it or chase it concept. So I'll have a good amount of fat in the meal, a moderate amount of protein, and a lower amount of good, healthy carbohydrates. And I'll do it between a 6 to 8 hour period. And then I'll just not eat. So if I get done around 7, I just won't eat again until noon. Now, what that's proven to do is it will burn your glucose, which will keep your insulin levels down, which will help with glucose levels, but it'll also it'll allow the body to start to use other forms of energy, one of them being fat. So that pathway, if it's turned on, is really, really healthy for the body. Again, one of the things biochemically, or some of the things that it can do, it'll increase your immune system function, right? It will help your blood sugar. It will increase energy. It will increase your metabolic engine. A lot of good things will happen with that. Also, regulating the blood sugar and something called cortisol, which is a stress hormone, will help sleep better. Okay, help you sleep better, I should say. So the foods are another thing that you could look at with the intermittent fasting that could certainly help you in this new, the reset. Another thing is accountability, right? So sometimes we just need either, I'll use the term coach, or a healthcare provider, or somebody that you check in with consistently that you can let them know how you're doing. And then you can even tell them ahead of time, hey, do me a favor, keep me in check. And I'll give you a quick example. On Tuesday and Thursday nights, I'll go to the gym and work out after work. And then I do 2 workouts, one on Saturday and one on Sunday. Well, for a while, my Tuesday and Thursday night, because we're here at the clinic so long, the point I'll make is I started to slack a little bit, where I was just driving home. I have about a half-hour drive, and I was just getting tired, and I would blow it off. Finally, I said, okay, I told my 2 kids, they're 22 and 16, I said, you have to hold me accountable. So go to the gym with me, wait to go to the gym, and make sure I go. And we've been doing that since January 1. So I'm getting my Tuesday night and my Thursday night workout in, and I feel so much better when I do it. So even though I'm tired when I go, midway through the workout, maybe even 20 minutes in, because there's so many people at the gym, and I know some of your gyms are closed. I understand that this is COVID time, but our gym is open. There's a lot of people there. I get motivated because I see all these other people working hard, and it makes me work hard. So getting there sometimes is the challenge, but if you have somebody that can hold you accountable, it's definitely a much better experience, where it's rewarding because they're helping you through the process. It's very difficult for us to do it on their own, and I feel like I'm very regimented in my eating, my exercise. I'm pretty regimented and disciplined, but I even, I'll say, as disciplined as I am, I need a little help too. So the accountability is definitely a big factor in this whole process. Find a workout buddy or a workout partner. Find somebody that you can definitely will hold you accountable. And you know, they can be nice about it, but they still want to hold you to that accountability, and let them do that. Finally, I think one of the things that is helpful to understand is be kind to yourself. And what I mean by that is, don't beat yourself up and stress yourself out if you're not able to do some of these things consistently. I tell my patients and people I work with, it is a process, right? Getting healthier is not a snap the finger and everything's going to be fine, right? It's a slow, methodical process that can happen over time. So set the goal as being healthy, but then maybe short-term goals, achieve those, and then move to the next step and so forth. I'm going to walk for 20 minutes. You start walking 20 minutes, you get that done, and maybe you do 5 minutes of that walk is more higher intensity, and then you feel good, so 10 minutes of that walk is high intensity. Now you have 10 minutes of high intensity, 10 minutes of walking. Then hypothetically say you feel good with doing that. So then maybe we then start to do some band exercises that we can help you with those. But on the internet, if you Google band exercises, you know, at Target or Walmart, they have the bands. It might be $10 or $15 that you could buy. You can hook them into your door. You can stand on them. There's literally hundreds of exercises you could do with the bands. So you can get a good upper body workout, a lower body workout. And as time goes on, you feel better and better, and you've done it slowly, so you're not killing yourself to where it discourages you. That's one thing too. Don't go too fast in the process, because everything, if you go 100 miles an hour, at first you'll be sore and achy, and it's kind of negative feedback to the brain, so a lot of people stop doing it. Do everything slow. Think of slow and steady like the tortoise and the hare. Instead of being the hare, be the tortoise. Slow and steady wins the race. So that way, very attainable goals if they're reasonable. Where if you said, all right, I'm going to work out 5 days every week, I'm going to get up at 6 a.m., I'm going to eat perfectly, so forth. That's probably not going to work because it's not really attainable. It's not achievable. Set yourself up for maybe I'm going to work out 2 days a week and I'm just going to walk for 20 minutes each of those days. The next week, maybe you do a little bit more. The next week, a little bit more, and so forth. And then you just build the layers of the house, foundation-wise. I think that's a big factor too, because again, I see a lot of people going 100 miles an hour and then they beat themselves up, or they can't sustain it. Then they beat themselves up and they feel guilty that they weren't able to finish the job, so to speak. So slow and steady wins the race, okay? So maybe remedial to you, but I think those are good steps to implement in the new year and think about, to just slowly work your way to better health, and then you can sustain it through the entire year. Then you develop good habits, and those habits tend to stay, because I will tell you, once you eat better and you work out and you're doing these things consistently, your body is going to feel very, very good. Maybe not at first, right? It might take some time, but then what you'll find is you'll hit a point of you can't live without it. So I'm at a point now where I can't not work out and I can't not eat well, because I just don't feel that great. If I do those two things, I feel wonderful. A ton of energy, I feel loose, I feel pliable, I don't have inflammation, all those different things. So, but it takes some time to flip that switch. So stay with it. I promise you it will feel better at some point, and you'll get rewarded on how you feel. Okay? Hopefully that was helpful. If you ever need anything, just tell the front desk, tell the girls downstairs, whoever's answering the phone, hook me up with Dr. Roney, and I'll help you walk through this process. Okay? Happy New Year, everybody. Good luck.